The 17th century in England was a time of great upheaval. The English Civil War raged, pitting Parliament against the Crown. In this maelstrom of conflict, a group of poets emerged, their pens as sharp as any sword. They were the Cavalier Poets, loyal supporters of King Charles I. Their poetry, imbued with wit and elegance, celebrated love, beauty, and loyalty in a time of profound uncertainty. These were not poets hiding in ivory towers. They were men of action, many fighting for the Royalist cause. Their experiences on the battlefield and in the opulent courts of Charles I infused their poetry with a unique blend of gallantry and sensitivity. The Cavalier Poets offered a glimpse into the heart of a tumultuous era, their verses reflecting both the anxieties and the fleeting joys of their age. Their world was one of contrasts, the brutality of war juxtaposed with the refinement of courtly life. This duality is mirrored in their poetry, where themes of love and honor often intertwine with reflections on mortality and the ephemeral nature of beauty. The Cavalier Poets remind us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit seeks solace in beauty, love, and the enduring power of art. The term Cavalier itself was initially a term of abuse. Parliamentarians used it to denigrate the Royalists, painting them as foppish and frivolous. The Cavalier Poets remind us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit seeks solace in beauty, love, and the enduring power of art. However, the poets embraced the label, turning it into a badge of honor. They refused to be defined by their detractors. Instead, they imbued the term Cavalier with new meaning, associating it with qualities of chivalry, loyalty, and refinement. Their poetry became a defiant celebration of their values and their unwavering support for the monarchy. The Cavalier Poets turned the tables on their opponents, proving that one could be both a man of action and a man of letters. They embraced the finer things in life not out of shallowness but as a conscious rejection of the puritanical zeal that threatened to engulf English society. Their poetry, with its emphasis on carpe diem, was a bold statement in a world on the brink of change. Among the most celebrated Cavalier poets were Robert Herrick, Richard Lovelace, Thomas Carew, and Sir John Suckling. Each brought their unique voice to the movement, but all shared a common thread of elegance, wit, and a deep appreciation for the fleeting pleasures of life. Robert Herrick, perhaps the best known of the group, is remembered for his pastoral poems celebrating the simple joys of rural life. His verses are filled with images of blooming flowers, dancing nymphs, and the idyllic beauty of the English countryside. Richard Lovelace, a soldier and courtier, embodied the Cavalier ideal of the soldier poet. His poems, often written from the perspective of a lover or a soldier, are imbued with a sense of gallantry, loyalty, and a poignant awareness of life's fragility. Thomas Carew, known for his elegant lyrics and seductive love poems, brought a sensual sensibility to Cavalier poetry. His verses are characterized by their musicality, wit, and a mastery of the art of seduction. Sir John Suckling, a courtier and gambler, brought a roguish charm to the group. His poems often dealt with themes of love, honor, and the thrill of the chase, reflecting his own colorful life. At the heart of Cavalier poetry lay a profound appreciation for the ephemeral nature of life. These poets, living in a time of war and uncertainty, embraced the philosophy of carpe diem, seize the day. They urged their readers to embrace the present moment, to find joy in love and beauty, for tomorrow was never guaranteed. Love, in all its forms, was a central theme in Cavalier poetry. Whether celebrating the beauty of a mistress, the loyalty between friends, or the bond between a king and his subjects, Cavalier poets explored the complexities of human connection with sensitivity and nuance. They wrote of love's joys and sorrows, its fleeting moments of ecstasy, and the bitter sting of unrequited affection. Beauty too held a central place in their work. Cavalier poets found beauty in the natural world, in the allure of a woman, and in the refined pleasures of art and music. They understood that beauty, like life itself, was fleeting, and their poems often served as a poignant reminder to cherish these precious moments before they faded. Section 5. Echoes of Antiquity, Classical Allusions, and Royalist Allegory. The Cavalier poets were steeped in the classics. Their education exposed them to the works of ancient Greek and Roman writers, whose influence is evident in their own poetry. They drew heavily on classical mythology, history, and philosophy, using these allusions to add depth and resonance to their work. These classical references were not merely decorative. The Cavalier poets used them strategically to reinforce their royalist sympathies. By drawing parallels between the Stuart monarchy and the grandeur of ancient Rome, they sought to elevate King Charles I, portraying him as a ruler in the mold of Augustus or Constantine. They used allegorical figures and narratives from classical mythology to comment on contemporary events. For instance, the nymph Daphne, pursued by the god Apollo, might represent England, pursued by the forces of Parliament. These allusions, while subtle, added a layer of political commentary to their seemingly light-hearted verses. Section 6. Wit, Irony and Paradox, the Tools of the Cavalier Trade. The Cavalier poets were masters of language, wielding words with precision and wit. They delighted in wordplay, using puns, double entendres, and clever turns of phrase to surprise and delight their readers. Their poetry sparkled with intelligence and sophistication, reflecting their courtly upbringing and their desire to entertain their aristocratic audience. Irony and paradox were also key elements of their style. They excelled at saying one thing while meaning another, often using humor to mask a deeper layer of meaning. This playful use of language allowed them to explore serious themes: love, loss, the transience of life, without becoming overly sentimental or didactic. Their poetry was characterized by a sense of restraint and decorum. They avoided the emotional excesses and religious fervor that characterized much of the poetry of their time. Instead, they favored a tone of elegant detachment, expressing their emotions with wit and understatement, rather than overt displays of passion. Section 7. The Legacy of Ben Jonson, a guiding light for the Cavaliers. No discussion of the Cavalier poets would be complete without mentioning the influence of Ben Jonson, the literary giant of the Elizabethan era. Jonson, a playwright, poet, and critic, was a mentor and friend to many of the Cavalier poets, shaping their literary sensibilities and influencing their style. Jonson championed a classical approach to poetry, emphasizing clarity, precision, and a focus on the universal truths of human nature. He believed that poetry should both delight and instruct, and his own work exemplified these ideals. The Cavalier poets embraced Jonson's emphasis on craftsmanship and restraint. They shared his admiration for classical literature and his belief in the power of wit and irony to illuminate the complexities of human experience. Jonson's legacy is evident in the elegance, wit, and technical mastery that characterize Cavalier verse. Section 8. Enduring Verses, Notable Works and Lasting Impact. The Cavalier poets left behind a rich legacy of enduring verses, poems that continue to resonate with readers centuries later. Robert Herrick's To the Virgins, To Make Much of Time, with its famous opening line, "Gather ye rosebuds while ye may," remains a timeless meditation on the fleeting nature of youth and beauty. Richard Lovelace's To Althea from Prison is another enduring work, a testament to the power of love and freedom to transcend even the most confining circumstances. Lovelace, imprisoned for his Royalist beliefs, wrote of the spiritual freedom he found in his love for Althea, declaring, "Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage." These poems, and countless others like them, offer a glimpse into the hearts and minds of the Cavalier poets. They remind us that even in times of turmoil and uncertainty, art has the power to uplift, console, and inspire. The Cavalier poets, with their celebration of beauty, love, and the enduring power of the human spirit, left an indelible mark on English literature, ensuring that their verses would continue to be read and cherished for generations to come.